Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Congregation Beth Ahaba's weekly Torah videos. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Va-eira. In it, we learn about a few different ways that people tend to respond to changes in their lives. We learn this through three different elements of the story. 1. The Israelites would not listen to Moses' message as their spirits were crushed by their cruel treatment. 2. When Moses and Aaron presented signs and wonders before Pharaoh, his first inclination was to see whether his court magicians and priests were able to duplicate those miracles. At first they could, and then they couldn't. 3. Eventually, Pharaoh said, "Okay, you can all go on your trip to the wilderness to worship your God." Then the plague would stop, and Pharaoh would change his mind and take it all back. So from these three elements of the story in this week's portion, we learn a few important truths and lessons about how people handle changes. 1. Even if something is true, it can be hard to hear it or to respond rationally to it if we are suffering. 2. Often our first response to something that we don't like is to try to find an explanation which will not require us to change our beliefs, our perspectives, or our behaviors. 3. Even if we are forced to change through circumstance or otherwise, it can be tempting to try to go back to the way things were as soon as humanly possible when an opportunity presents itself. Through these three story elements and these three general lessons about how people respond to change, we are encouraged, I think, to examine our lives in an honest way. And if and when changes happen in our lives, we're encouraged by the Torah to deal with them as gracefully and honestly as we can. Shabbat Shalom.